Hello. That was a strong one. Welcome back to episode 500 of the Nobody Asked for This podcast. I think it's like episode 66 or something. I'm not sure. I hope everyone has had a fantastic week, a fantastic day, a fantastic morning, whatever works. I myself am recording this 10:15, get this, a.m., as in morning, as opposed to, around 10 p.m., which is from the Latin night. Actually, what does AM and PM stand for? I'm just going to Google that. AM. Okay. Jeff Bezos runs the world because you type in AM. I was about to speak ill of Amazon and my voice gave out. That's how you know he really runs the world. I typed in AM and Amazon came up. Okay, what does AM and PM mean? I really could be relying on my Snapchat AI. Oh my gosh, it is Latin. AM stands for the Latin ante meridium, translating to before midday. I don't know why I'm screaming. This is the time before the sun has crossed the meridian. Sorry, I thought it's just meridian, period. I thought there was going to be a separate word. PM stands for post. Is it meridium? Meridium, that sounds more Latin. Or after midday, after the sun has crossed the meridium. I don't consider myself an ethical person, but I am a meridium. Anyway, I'm doing this in the morning, and I'm going to be completely honest. The reason I'm recording right now, because I know, when I wake up and my phone says it's Wednesday, I think, well, got to give the people a show. And by people, I mean no one, just adding to the stack of files on my computer that keeps reminding me that I'm out of storage. And, just releasing those files periodically into the internet, for no one to hear. But I feel like one day, how, songs now, because of TikTok, they're, coming back. I guess I wouldn't really be coming back, but I think one day, someone will find this and be like, whoa, this is, hours and hours and hours of really nothingness, but, maybe background noise? I feel like I've come across videos on YouTube that are, rainfall noises, 10 hours long, and then it's just, 1 billion views. So I feel like if, the sounds of the rainforest can get a significant amount of fans, why can't I? What's stopping me? Regardless, I'm coming to you on a Wednesday morning. We have officially reached the stage of kind of seasonal transition where I don't know how to dress. Well, I don't normally know how to dress. I'm in a pair of basketball shorts. I don't play basketball. And socks, but the longer type of socks, which basically for me means I went to the sock store and instead of grabbing the normal socks I wear that usually cut off around the ankle, I grab the longer pair that I kind of forgot I have with holes. And then I'm like, why is there so much sock? And then I don't know what to do. Do you roll it down? Anyway, regardless, we were at the point where I don't know how to dress. I don't know if I need a jacket. I don't know if I'm going to be ridiculed for not wearing a jacket out or if I'm going to be ridiculed for wearing a jacket out. Because it's still technically summer according to the Gregorian. No, that's not right. What is a Gregorian calendar? According to the seasons, it's still summer, but it's obviously not summer, because I'm freezing. I'm going to be really honest. I recently learned that seasons change from where you are. Different countries, not every country is in fall. Does every country have fall? Let's do that. See, these are the moments where I kind of need a co-host. Does every country have all 4 seasons? Let's see. This is like a Google co-hosted podcast. The 4-season year is typically only in the mid-latitudes. Is that Latin as well? The mid-latitudes are places that are neither near the poles, yikes, nor near the equator. I've heard of that. Not to be confused with equate, which is, I believe, the drugstore version, like the great value, like at Walmart when you go to buy like a toothbrush and you don't want to buy Colgate, you buy like the equate version. It's very different from the equator. The further north you go, the bigger the differences in the seasons. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Anyway, what was I talking about? Walmart, toothbrushes, Colgate, equator, equate, seasons. Oh, I don't know how to dress. Yeah, don't know how to dress. There's not really much more I can comment on that, but I'm looking forward to, in like a month from now, when we're on episode maybe in the 70s of the Nobody Asked for This podcast, I'm looking forward to us being like fully cemented into like, I'm bringing a jacket, you know? I have to find my jacket first. And then we're going to go for it. But yeah, I hope everyone's had a great week. I'm going to be honest. The only reason I'm doing this podcast earlier than normal is I am procrastinating reading my book that I'm reading. I'm not going to say the name of the book because I don't want to slander the good name of this author, which I probably could do because it's not really slander if I'm saying an opinion. And again, no one's listening to this, but I'll be kind and withhold my negative acclaim. Is it acclaim if it's negative? Probably not. My negative critique. Is it critique if it's positive? Anyway, these are just, again, so many questions. I gotta listen to an episode one day and just write down all of the questions, and then I can put all those questions into a book, and then I can really put time, effort, and money into publishing that book, probably do a self-publish, just for then no one to read it. Like, I sometimes wonder, like, how far am I going to take this fake podcast? Because it's on the internet, like, it's real. Just, no one's listening to it. And I know it sounds like every time I bring it up, like, I'm bitter. I really am not. Like, I don't expect anyone to listen to it. I just genuinely have fun recording these episodes, because I probably said this before, I pretty much do this just in my head. So it is nice to like take half an hour, or in the case of last week, like an hour, which apologies for that if anyone did listen to that. I was kind of on a roll, you could say, but I just kind of take half an hour of my constant rotation of thoughts and just like record them just for other people to hear. I think it's probably good to check in, in that way. Just make sure it's nothing concerning, nothing that I need to be aware of to then bring up to some sort of a specialist at some point. So it is good as like kind of a check-in for myself. But I do fear that one day I will get so delusional that I'll like try and go on tour and then like there's just no one there, or like I'll be like one of those people on Dr. Phil who are sending money to someone, who we then find out is a catfish, but instead of someone else catfishing me, I'm almost like catfishing myself into believing that, people would buy this book of all the random questions that I ask in an episode that I don't have answers for, So I really, if there is anyone listening to this in like Cincinnati or like maybe Nebraska, not much going on. I don't know why I continually call out Nebraska. I feel really bad for that. I'm sure it's very happening. But if there's someone who maybe is a bit lonelier and you are listening to this, because, I sometimes when I look at the stats of this podcast, I see I see how many people have listened. And it's usually like So I swear to you, there are some episodes that are 0, but there are some that are like 3 or 4, and I'm pretty sure it was just me like accidentally testing the audio, or like when I post like the link on the Instagram, which again no one follows or sees. But when I do that, like I'll accidentally click play or whatever. But there could be like a listener or two that like is just kind of sneaking under the whatever it's called, sneaking under the radar. So if you are listening, I can't remember. I started the sentence so long ago, I can't remember what I was going to ask of you. But if you remember what I was trying to go for, just do that, okay? Oh, right. I was going to say, if I do get to a point where it really sounds like I'm like putting major dollars into this, you got to just send me a quick message on any of the social media things that I have listed on our website, podcast.nobodyaskforthis.podbean.com. Just be like, stop. Just say, it can be, send an anonymous note. Just say, stop. And I will stop. But so far, so good. But yes, as I said, I'm procrastinating reading my book. Some weeks I can read like 2 books in a week. And some weeks I'll be reading the same chapter for 2 weeks. And I'm not a particularly fast reader. I just have like not much going on, as you can tell. So, and I have no hobbies. So that's kind of what I have turned to in my time of need, which is reading. But yeah, this book I'm reading now is a bit shite, which is my new favorite word. It's not the word, it's that with an E at the end. It's shite. I don't exactly know where I got it from, and I have Googled, just a quick Google search to make sure like it's not like a word I shouldn't be saying. I'm very hesitant to add new words into my vocabulary, but from everything I've read, it's just shit with an E, so we should be good to go. Oh, good news. I went through a harrowing journey the other day. And by the other day, I mean like a couple weeks ago. I might have talked about the beginning of this story, but I'm glad to say there's been a happy ending. I was trying to order, once the calendar turned to September, I was like, okay, I need to order some pumpkin spice syrup to like add to things in everyday life to enhance the fall experience. So I was at Winners. I for sure talked about this. I was at Winners because I remember saying that Winners was like Marshall's, but the Canadian version, which we also have Marshall's, and I don't know why there's a need for both of them, but regardless, I'm not the people that had to figure that out. I went to Winners. I saw that they had a huge like gallon thing of, maybe not gallon, but like at least a liter or 2 of pumpkin spice syrup. I thought, you know what? I don't need it. I went home. I slept on it. I decided that I did need it. I went back to that store and they no longer had it. So then I went on Amazon and I saw that they had pumpkin spice syrup, and I said, you know what, I can just order that. I got distracted. I went to do something else. I came back and they were completely sold out. So I was like, this is literally the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I took a moment, I took a breath, I took a sip of not pumpkin spice flavored coffee, and I went back to the computer and I saw that there was this website that would sell me like the fancier brand, like Terani. I'm going to say the name of the brand, Terani syrup. They had a fancy version of pumpkin spice. So I was like, okay, perfect. Let me get the pumpkin spice version, or the fancy version of pumpkin spice. That was, for whatever reason, which this should have been my first concern, was the same price as the non-fancy version of the pumpkin spice syrup. So I click order. I'm like, phew, we're good. That's literally what I said to myself. I said, self, phew, we're good. 3 words. Self, phew, we're good. That's technically 4 words. Three thoughts. And then I get a call a couple hours later, and I'm like, uh-oh. Like, do I have a warrant out for my arrest? Do I have a package waiting at the border? People love to call me and tell me that. When most of the time I don't. Actually, 100% of the time, I do not have a warrant out for my arrest thus far. And I do not have a package waiting at the border thus far. But people love to call me to tell me that. But then I realized when I heard the voicemail that it was just the people from the coffee syrup company telling me that they in fact did not have the fancy version of the pumpkin spice, but they had the non-fancy version of the pumpkin spice that they were still willing to sell to me. And I said, you know what? Mistakes happen. In the spirit of fall, in the spirit of forgiveness, like, just go for the non-fancy version. Like, it's probably more appropriate for my consumption anyway. You know, I don't need to be drinking fancy pumpkin spice coffee. Regular will do. But in the meantime, I was scared that the shipping was going to take so long. So I was like, I need something. I need to, like, kickstart the fall season, even though the fall season hasn't kickstarted itself. But the problem with fall is, I've explained many times, I kind of have my own version of the seasons. Like, I don't really adhere to, you know, the meridian version of, or the what the equator tells me to do. Like, I don't base my lifestyle in terms of what season I'm in based on the position in which I reside in relation to the equator. So I need to get a kickstart on fall, because for me, fall kind of is over. Like, at least the pumpkin version of fall is over in November, because after Halloween, it's full steam ahead Christmas time. So I was like, I only have 2 months of drinking pumpkin stuff before I have to start drinking gingerbread and eggnog stuff. So I have to order this now. So I did order, like, a cheap bottle of pumpkin cheesecake syrup, which arrived about a week ago. It was delectable. It was exactly what I was sold. It tastes like pumpkin. It tastes like cheesecake. It was great. And then on Friday, this past Friday, September, whatever the heck, I got a package, and I said, oh my gosh, my package at the border finally arrived. And it was not that. It was the non-fancy pumpkin spice, and I got, to kind of balance out the fanciness, I did get the regular version of the pumpkin spice, but I did order a pump, like a syrup pump. So I'm pretty much Starbucks. I'm an independently run Starbucks for one person, being me. And I have that. So now, not only do I have one bottle of pumpkin spice, I have 2 bottles of pumpkin spice syrup. So I got to start drinking. I'm already on my second cup of coffee because I have to run through it before gingerbread season comes, which I'll have all of you know. I have already started scouting options for the gingerbread and eggnog syrups that I will be buying. I am eagerly anticipating the return of regular eggnog. I believe I still have 1 carton in my freezer from like 3 years ago. For whatever reason, 3 years ago, I was in a position where the thought of living without eggnog in my possession was just too much to bear. So I pretty much bought, like, when it went on sale in January or whatever, I pretty much bought like 4 huge things of eggnog and then froze them. And then I unfortunately had a freezer malfunction, so I was not able to consume those at the planned times. So it's really sad. But one of them did seem a little bit frozen still to me when we discovered the malfunction. So I did keep it, but I probably will not drink it. But just having it on hand makes it feel, makes me feel better. Anyway, all of this to say, I have procured gingerbread and eggnog syrup, so I'm ready to go. November 1st, that's where I'll be, drinking eggnog and gingerbread. I'm going to have to maybe do like a rotation of the two. But yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited for the end of this year. Not for this year to end. I just prefer September, October, November, December. Those are definitely the best months of the year. I think, I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I think I'm going to kick off the start of soup making season tonight. I'm going to make a potato pesto soup. If any of my if any of my listener would like me to ship you some, I could probably do like a freezer situation. I could get some dry ice, send it off to Cincinnati. I don't exactly know where that is. I found out the wildest thing, which is the position of New Brunswick. I still haven't been to New Brunswick. And a long time ago, I think I was in like grade 7. So about like 12 or 13, 12 turning 13. And I accidentally, so my school had this like a geography club or whatever. And at the end of the like season, I guess, I don't know, geography clubs have seasons, they do like a competition, like it's almost like a Jeopardy thing, where they ask you just like trivia questions of the about geography. And I, being the dumbass that I am, decided to join even though I have no knowledge of geography, but arguably I was the demographic for that. Like, let's go learn about geography. And it was just fun. I liked, the social interaction aspect of the geography club. And like I said, they have that, the Jeopardy game at the end of the year that you do in front of the whole school. Now, that was never a problem for me because they only took a certain amount of kids who were like, I guess we did like a placement test or something at the end. I can't exactly remember, but they only took like a few kids that were like the better of the group, the best, who knew the most geography. Now, that year was really an unfortunate year for me because there were only so many kids that joined the geography club that year. So I had by default, which is the only way I would have landed in the position that I landed, by default ended up in like the game, like I'm just going to call it Jeopardy. I ended up in Jeopardy. I literally, not just the game show, but like I was in turmoil because I had to go on the stage in front of the whole school and answer all these questions of which I did not know. And the night before, and I only found out I'm pretty sure the day before, maybe 2 days before. And I was like, well, I don't know about geography. I never claimed to know about geography. I was just here for to talk to people. I don't know, just for something to do. I was very, very social at the time, obviously. I had a lot going on in my social calendar that I could make room for the geography club. I probably talked about this before, but I don't know. It's a funny story. So I was like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do? I don't know anything about geography. And my mom was like, what are you supposed to do? You know nothing about geography. Very encouraging. And she was like, okay, obviously you can't learn the entire world map in a night. I tried, but that's obviously not possible. She's like, at least know about Canada. At least know the provinces and kind of where they are. So I studied that. I learned the provinces of Canada, which thank God I'm not American because you'd have to learn 50 something states. Not going to happen. But I was like, okay, I think there's less than 15 provinces and territories in Canada. I think there's 11 provinces and 3 territories or something like that. So I was like, okay, let me learn those in the capital cities. So I did that. And since that day, I really have been pretty good with the Canadian geography. Now, if anyone who wants to hear the end of the story, I'll just quickly tell you. I was in a 3-way tie for dead last in the geography challenge. I basically had, what they did is they gave you little slips of paper. I think it was 20 or 30 questions. And they would ask what is the capital of Brazil or whatever. And I only knew that answer because I'd seen the movie Rio, as well as its sequel, Rio 2, which is the movie about the birds. If anyone remembers, it's the animated movie. I guess obviously, it's not real birds. The bluebirds. There's something about extinction. I don't know. It was a movie at the time that I had recently watched, so I knew the answer to that question. But I basically I decided in that moment, once it was the 5th question that I had no idea, I thought, you know what? I'm not going to make myself look stupid. And, when they say, what is the capital of Spain? I'm not going to write Rome and then look like a dumbass. I'm just going to have a piece of paper with a question mark on it. And every time it's a question that I really don't know and I can't even guess a close answer to, I'm just going to hold that up and say, maybe let's just pretend I had a brain fart. I was going for, I was really relying on people thinking I was just nervous and couldn't for the life of me recall just in that one moment, if Spain was in Europe or South America, as opposed to answer something stupid and people were like, oh my God, this guy's dumb. So like I said, 3-way dead tie for last. It was actually kind of fun. I had fun with it. I, for whatever reason, find humor in my own failure. So I was the funniest day of my life by that regard. But my point in telling you all of this is from that day, I felt a confidence in knowing that if for whatever reason I was in a life or death scenario, and what would get me out of it would be labeling the Canadian map with all the provinces and then telling you their capital cities, like I thought I could do it. So imagine my surprise when I look at a map and find where I thought was New Brunswick is not New Brunswick at all. New Brunswick is actually very east. It's in the eastern Canada. And I don't recall what the point of me telling you this was, but yeah, if anyone needs to know, New Brunswick is extremely east. It's actually by PEI, and I believe the capital city of PEI is Charlottetown, which I remembered because I thought, okay, Prince Edward Island is where Charlotte's Web lives, which is not, but that's how I remembered it. And then I believe the capital of New Brunswick is Fredericton. I remembered that because I just did. I was thinking Freddie lives in New Brunswick. Let me see if I could do it. Okay, so obviously the capital of BC. I'm going to visualize the map and just kind of go across. The capital of BC. And I'm also, to make this really fun, like I'm not going to fact check. Like it is what it is. Like if I'm telling you this, then it's right. Hopefully the people in Cincinnati listening are not too familiar with the Canadian map. Also, I send my love to you because if you had to do this test or like do like a quiz in elementary school where you had to label the map, I don't know how you would remember 50 things. I truly don't. Godspeed on that. Okay, the capital of BC is Victoria. A lot of people think it's Vancouver. It's not. It's Victoria. And by a lot of people, I mean, I don't think people sit around and think about this, but if they did, they would probably guess Vancouver. It's actually Victoria. Okay, next would be Alberta. The capital of Alberta, I believe, is Calgary. The other major city would be Edmonton, but that doesn't sound right to me. Okay, and then next to Alberta, I believe, is either Manitoba or Saskatchewan. The capital of Manitoba is Winnipeg. And then the capital of Saskatchewan is Regina. Not to be confused with Saskatoon. And especially not to be confused with Saskatoon, which is not a city, but is in fact a fictionalized place that they made up in the movie Grown Ups and or Grown Ups 2. Great film if you need a laugh. Okay, next to that is, I think just Ontario? I have to check a map. I think Ontario, obviously the capital of Ontario, is not Toronto. I almost fell for it. I believe it is Ottawa. Next to that is Quebec, which is the capital Montreal or is the capital Quebec City? I'm going to say Montreal, but I'm not confident. Quebec, capital city. Oh shoot, it's Quebec City. Okay, at least I was down to 2. Okay, and then next to that, I'm sorry, this is probably not fun for anyone to listen to, but at this point, 28 minutes in, I highly doubt anyone's still listening. Especially after I was talking about which version of pumpkin spice I ordered and whether or not I ordered a pump and the timeline of the shipping and all of that. So definitely no one's listening. Okay, so Quebec City, and then kind of like underneath, like in that area is Newfoundland and Labrador. What is the capital city of that? I don't know. St. John, I think so. And then around in that area, PEI, obviously Charlottetown. Also in that area is New Brunswick, Fredericton would be the capital city of that. And then I think if you go up, so above BC is Yukon, which I believe the capital of that is Yellowknife. I think. Let me just double check, even though I said I wasn't going to fact check. The Yukon capital city is It's Whitehorse. This is like Clue. It's not the yellow knife in the library. It's the white horse in the garage. Okay. Crap. I wish I didn't check now and just lived in silence. Okay. Yukon is Whitehorse. And then is Northwest Territories Yellowknife? Is there a Yellowknife? Northwest Territories capital. Which... Oh, wait, no, never mind. I was going to give a fun fact, but that's not... Okay, Northwest Territories is Yellowknife. I was close. And then I believe Nunavut, the capital of that is Iqaluit. I believe. I'm just going to double check. None of it. Which is not a religious convent. None of it. Even though it sounds like it. Capital. I'm having none of it. Acclaim. I did it. And that, fun fact, is a newer territory, like a newer. It was established later. It was only, I think, established in 99, which I wasn't even established in 99. So that's pretty cool. I might have been a concept in 99. Okay, let's check. Yes, it was previously part of the Northwest Territories. I'm getting this information on Google. Northwest Territories. Not 1949. I need a month, people. Ooh. Tell me a month. When was none of it? I'm having none of it. When was that established? April 1st, 1999. Okay, I was definitely not a thing in April 1st of 1999. I was born almost exactly a year later. 13 months later. But that was almost called Bob. I believe they did some sort of a vote on what the people wanted the name to be. And first was none of it in that one, and then second was Bob. So it was almost Bob. And the capital of Bob, Acclaim, which I knew. And I think that concludes the geography lesson. So if anyone needs to know, I think I got all of them. Oh, I might have not said Halifax. Sorry. Nova Scotia. The capital of Nova Scotia is Halifax. Just so we could really don't say I didn't teach you anything on this podcast, okay? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that are running around, recommending this podcast, saying you should listen to the Nobody Asked for this podcast, but don't if you want to learn something. Okay? You can't say that anymore. And I'm just doing a quick scan of the map. New Brunswick, PI, Halifax. Yep, okay, I'm a genius. See, so I did learn something out of that geography challenge experience, Jeopardy situation. And that was the capitals and provinces of my homeland. So, cheers. I don't know if you heard that. I did a cheers with my cold coffee in a mug next to my very fancy microphone, aka my iPhone. So yeah, I think that concludes this episode. If you're looking for more of the Nobody Asked for this podcast, you can go back and listen to our last episode, which was the length of 2 episodes. So really, I've put in overtime this week, and I will be collecting on that one day soon. But I hope you all have a great week. I hope you all, I hope you all win the lottery. I guess there's probably not enough lotteries for everyone to win. Although if we only have one listener, chances are pretty high that all of my listener are winning the lottery. Stay safe. I hope you all enjoy the fall weather. I hope you yourself make some soup. I would highly recommend it. I'm going to do a potato pesto soup, I believe. I don't know if I said that already. I will report back on how that is. And yeah, don't read the book that I'm reading because it's boring. And you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, which I think we've all it's technically X. I think we've all decided it's just Twitter. So I'm really proud of that for us. And yeah, have a great week. Bye.